Hello and welcome to the Aftershock show live from Coachella Valley, California. My name is Alex Morgan. I'm here with Jamin Moore and San Jose Earthquakes head coach Luchi Gonzalez. Luchi, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's almost the time for the season to begin. Not quite. You have one more preseason game tomorrow. Might have noticed a couple odd-looking characters walking around practice today, but got a chance to see everything. Pretty intense stuff out there. You look like you had all your coaches and everyone's going. It's a huge hub of activity. How do you feel right now, knowing you still got this preseason game, but with a week left of the season?
Well, first of all, thanks, guys, for making the trip and having a personal experience with the group today in our training. The guys have worked really hard, and we talked at the beginning of the preseason about building an identity, and it's more important in this next step for the team and the club in terms of why we do things and how we do things as opposed to what we do. The what is that end product, but the why and the how is what really gives us the actions, gives us the beliefs, gives us the values to show consistently day in, day out that with hard work and clarity of our style of play, clarity of how we want to act, how we want to play in terms of our vision for the team moving forward in the San Jose way, then that what can happen, that end product can happen. So I think the guys have done excellent in terms of being open-minded in the video sessions, on the field, off the field, being active listeners, but also with a mentality of trying to get better every day. This team has a technical foundation. It has an intensity in its foundation and how they train and how they played and competed last season. And it's been really important for us as a staff to give it a structure, give it guidance, give it organization, and give it purpose without the ball. And I think the guys have showed that in the exhibition games and the competition. It's not exactly where we want it yet. That's just going to take time. And as the season begins, every team is gonna take their preseason moment and then refine it as the season goes. But I'm happy where we are today. Like I said, because of the players' mentalities and their collective and their togetherness. But it's just taking it one day at a time, one moment at a time, and we have the opportunity to play a very difficult game against New York Red Bull tomorrow.
So we had the chance to talk at the beginning of preseason back in January. In between then and now, you've had 5 preseason games. What kind of improvements have you seen from the group, and what have you learned about the team in those 5 games?
Well, first of all, I think it's important that I thought the players, again, they have a technical foundation. It's a roster that can be creative and with the ball have possession, but also break lines against the opponent. But it's important that we do that in a structure for 2 reasons. That structure allows us to occupy spaces that take advantage of the opponent's formations and give us the ability to find numbers advantages and break lines, and more importantly, break the last line so we can create offensive actions and goal scoring opportunities. That's number 1. But number 2, as we look to break lines, we have a structure with numbers again and support and connections that when we do lose the ball, we have the ability to win it back. We have the distance, we have the numbers to win it back, and that keeps us more engaged in the game and keeps the game a little more in control. Whereas if we were disorganized in our shape and our structure of how we want to advance the ball and we lose it, or we're so expansive and we lose it, it can really hurt us in a defensive transition moment. And so those 2 things are connected in the game, and we're training in that way, and then we're looking to try to improve that in the games. And so that's something that I think has been really intentional and what we're looking at in video and how we're training. And you can see the guys grasping that concept. But like I said, every team's working on things, and we got still a long ways to go.
Your style of play when you were at FC Dallas picked up the moniker Luchi Ball. To you, what did that mean? And also coming into the Earthquakes and what you might have picked up also from the men's national team with Greg, how do you think, if you're a San Jose Earthquakes fan that watched the style of play at FC Dallas, what do you think is the first thing they would see that's different?
I think I've alluded to a few of those already in this conversation, but possession is important to me in my upbringing when I played. It's been important to me in my coaching from youth to academy to pre-professional and then now professional. And it continued to be in the national team. And I was really aligned with Greg and the game model with the U.S. national team. And so, I think the experience I had in Dallas was obviously very positive. I was there for 10 years. I learned a lot about build from within, developing, preparing players for that next step on and off the field. Because I'm a product of that myself. So I know I can relate, and I do think players are never ready, but I do think they can be prepared, and then they can grab opportunities. And so, that's a process I'm proud of. And then in Dallas, yeah, we had a style of play. But at some point, you have, and this is a league, it's a long season. There's travel, there's weather conditions that make it difficult. And it's a very athletic league. It's a very dynamic league. And sometimes these games become open and there's transitions. And so look, the experience I had in Dallas, it definitely taught me a lot. It allowed me to prepare for what I had next with the national team. But, with the national team, I think I just got the experience of hearing someone else's game model, seeing it in the video, seeing it in the training in terms of their methodology, picking up vocabulary, picking up important things in terms of pressing, right? Pressing triggers, how, high press is not just always a high block being spread out in a high position pressing. A high press can be from a mid block. A high press can be from a low block. Mm-hmm. It's just how you do it, when you do it, and how can you be organized to do it? Reading triggers collectively. And when a press is broken, what next? Oh, well, we have another way to solve it, or we have a recovery behind. So I think that's the area that I grew the most in my experience with Greg and the national team and the experience in the World Cup, was just finding balance in the game with and without the ball, so that the team can compete and really approaching each game with a clear identity that we have as a team, but also knowing we've got to adapt to the opponent and have tactical flexibility, because every team you play is going to be a little bit different.
So now that you've had a chance to get to know this group a little bit more, what do you think that this group's greatest strengths are? And, what part of this style do you think would challenge them a little bit more?
So from day one, even before we touched the field, I saw plenty of video from the last season. And the makeup of the team for me were technical players that had courage to play and combine and be creative. And so you saw breaking lines, you saw attacking sequences, you saw them in 2-3 passes with verticality, or you saw them with patience, with a switch of play. And so, I think the team, like I said, has this technical and creative foundation. They have intensity. They like to compete. And in the training, I mean, I've had trainings in this preseason that have been high quality, and we have a game tomorrow, and it was intense today. Right, today is a pre-game. It's a match day -1, but we control the loads. It's only 3-minute games today. We can't go longer times, but the guys get after it, and we love it. I love it. They love it, and I think that's going to be really important. One of our main, principles in our style of play is intensity. Intensity has to be the starting point in everything that we do, from the training to the game. So that's what I really love, and that's in the mold. It's in the DNA of this group. And then I think with time and more work, it's going to bring our style of play alive.
During training today, I heard you say, coaches, if there are any loose balls, you can hit them into the back of the net. Have you hit any worldies so far this preseason?
Look, there's banter. It was funny. We did some video today, did a little clip of a coaching action and how I didn't break the lines with my pass. I didn't, and I'm not kidding, but, because, for us, video, we want to make sure video is this, it's a learning opportunity, and it's a safe opportunity, and it's for no one to take personal. It's for all of us to learn from each other and almost have no fear of making mistakes. And that's a process that's really important. I'm a coach, but I have a teacher background. I have a teacher, I'd say, profile, and I can't be afraid. I need to be vulnerable. I need to take accountability, as the head coach, my staff. So we have to model that. Because how can we expect players to take accountability and responsibility or learn something if we can't be the students ourselves and the example ourselves? So that's an important process in how we do things.
So speaking of coach actions, have you studied the film of Greg's behind the back passes in order to get the ball back in bounds?
I have. You won't see any of those for me. I have a different technique. I like the handoff, like the catch and just hand. But Greg was he's got a fiery personality, and those are some good online videos of his different techniques. Yeah. I think he slowed it down in the World Cup, though.
Yeah, I think he knew that people were watching for this. I have one more question real quick. But so a lot of the things that we've already led in talking about, and we all love attacking football, but also, this team was associated to Matias Almeida's defensive style over the last, few years, and then trying to adjust out of that last season, gave up a lot of goals, 6 most goals in the last decade or so in this league. Clearly that would feel like your number one challenge coming into the season. You've also seen a very different back line available to you, whether how you select that back line clearly is between you and the staff. But now you've got a lot of new investments coming in with Carlos Gruezo and with Jonathan Mensah more recently, and new outside backs available. And there's a lot of change. How are you feeling about your ability to do the things that you've been talking about with so much change happening? Because Mensah just arrived, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? And then Gruezo, more recently during preseason as well.
Look, attacking, when we talk about attacking, it's about everybody. So goalkeeper and center backs, really important how we bring the ball forward, break lines. Let's say there's pressure. Our front line is really important to help come and help us connect, bounce, reference, so we can play out. So when we build and attack, it's all 11 players. Same as when we defend. And it's about all 11 players. And how are we going to be shaped against the opposition to be organized, to be compact, to create triggers that when there's certain passes or the balls in certain areas that we have a change of speed together and we're collectively getting pressure on the ball with the intention of trying to win it. And if they break it, we reorganize. So, it's this idea of taking kind of what this team has experienced last few years in terms of individual man marking, where there's a lot of one-on-one responsibilities, duels, but taking that same intensity, that same responsibility, that same fight, right? Mental fight and energy, but doing it in a collective way. It's really important that we do that in a collective way, where an individual can nick the ball, or an individual can, but that they always know that there's someone right next to them ready to get their back and to cover for them. And that's kind of the evolution that I see in it. And then in terms of the back line, and the midfield's included with Gruezo, we thought adding Gruezo was really important to give us midfield stability in terms of ball recovery, in terms of breaking up plays, in terms of let's make sure we grow in our depth and our competition in the midfield to win the ball, to break up plays, to defend the back line, to defend the box, and to help our creative players create. Let them do what they do best. And then you mentioned Jonathan. Nathan was having a really good season, or preseason. Mm-hmm. He was evolving, and it's just some bad luck. He gets the injury, which is going to keep him out for most of the season. If not maybe all. We don't know yet. But I'm really proud the club acted swiftly, and we it wasn't the original plan, but Jonathan coming in has been really positive. In just a short amount of time, in a few days, he's adapted with the group. He's created chemistries off the field, and on the field he's competing, and he's one of our brothers, and he's going to help this team push forward. So look, that's life, that's the game. But we're building. We can't depend on one player. It's about the collective, about the next man up. But defending is we're trying to make it a more collective responsibility and give it clarity.
So I have one more hard question, then we have a fun surprise.
Sure.
The one last hard question is the goalkeeping position. You have 2 goalkeepers who probably both have the quality to be starting in Major League Soccer. How are you handling that situation right now? Do you know who's going to be starting day one? What is your thinking about the goalkeeper position between JT and Daniel?
Yeah, look, it is a hard question, but I'll give you an easy answer. We're going to take it one day at a time. Both have been, and with Emmy and the staff and the group of goalkeepers competing, they've been awesome. They've been good teammates. They're pushing each other because first and foremost, you can see they care about the team, and they're good human beings and they're team guys. And so, and that value of together, we're stronger. They're showing that as a goalkeeping group. But yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a challenge every week to make this the decision of the one position, a back line, midfield, forward. You can build a combination of players, but a goalkeeper is one player, and you have to pick one to start a game. And usually you don't sub the goalkeeper, obviously. So it will be a challenge, but it's a great challenge to have, and it's great that we have that depth to take care of business in the goal.
Could you see them handing off the starting spot back and forth to each other throughout
You never
the course
know.
of the season?
Potentially. Yeah, we just, like I said, going to take it one day at a time. Not even one game at a time, one day at a time, in that position.
All right, so now let's have a little bit of fun. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but people say you're a talkative guy, and we ask a question, and you can talk for 5 minutes. We love that. We're looking forward to the press conferences, but we want to see, can you give short answers to some fun questions? Are you good?
Who did you hear that from?
Some people.
Yeah. I knew it was Jake, by the way. That's why I asked.
A couple people back
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
couple people back in Dallas just kind of give us a
You
heads
could just
up.
tell me straight, though. You guys have to tell me, huh?
All right, so we're going to rapid fire this. I think we're going to go a little bit back and forth here. Okay, so we're just going to ask you some quick ones. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
1 goal lead, 80th minute. You sub on an extra defender or an extra attacker.
What about a midfielder?
That's a third option.
What would you do?
I just gave my answer.
There
was
you
a
go.
question.
Midfielder, we'll take it.
All right. Let me do a non one here. Okay. Oh wait, hang on. This is actually a San Jose question, so I think you know who these guys are. Stoppage time substitute: Alan Gordon or Steven Lenhart?
Leonard.
Oof, good answer. Favorite cookie?
Ooh, Snickerdoodle.
Good answer as well.
All right. So I have a particular favorite team in Texas area. So I wanted to ask this question to you. Your favorite Dallas sports team that doesn't have an FC in the name?
The Dallas Sidekicks.
Dallas Sidekicks.
Was that the right answer, Jim?
Well, I'm just going to show him what I'm wearing down here.
Oh, there you go.
He's got his
Look,
Cowboys socks.
I grew up
on.
in Miami. My dad was a Dolphins fan.
Dolphins fan.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
definitely not going to say that one.
Definitely not the Cowboys.
Okay, this one is a little out of left field, but because you spent some time in Sweden, I believe, earlier in your career, we were wondering, pratar du svenska?
Oh, Svenska is Swedish.
Yes,
Yeah. Do I speak Swedish?
that's the question.
Yeah. Mycket bra.
A little.
Mycket bra. No, very good. No,
Very
actually,
good.
I wouldn't answer the question, would it?
So Oscar
Do you
Agron
speak-
hasn't
do you speak
pushed you on
Swedish?
this yet.
Very
huh?
good. No, I guess it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so you're not out there doing the Spanglish
I forgot all
and
my
then all
Swedish.
of a sudden looking over at Oscar going like, here's a Swedish word
Yeah.
for you or something.
Good thing Oscar speaks English and Spanish, though. He
Very
speaks
good.
Spanish.
Oh,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a question right there. At home, English, Spanish, or Spanglish?
What do you mean at home? Oh, in
What's
my
spoken
home.
at home,
In my
yes.
home. Oh, English.
English.
English, yeah.
Okay, we're thinking
My parents' home, Spanglish.
Spanglish, okay.
outside of whatever normal formation you're playing, 3-5-2 or 4-4-2?
Do we have the ball or are we defending?
Have the ball. Building out of the back.
Just for something different than your normal stuff.
3-5-2.
3-5-2.
Okay, Pep Guardiola we got here.
Yeah. Do you like in-swinging corners or out-swinging corners better?
Guys, it's like saying if I like, the cinnamon in the snickerdoodle or the milk. Like they go together.
Go together. Okay.
I like in-swingers.
like in-swingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We also think that we need to make sure that you're aware of sort of the San Jose cultural scene. So these names might be familiar, might not be. For a day trip with the family, are you thinking the San Jose Tech Museum or the Winchester Mystery House?
So my wife mentioned the Mystery House last week.
Okay.
So I know the city's a tech city. We'll get to that when we can, but we're going to make the wife happy first.
There's Mr. House first. Okay. From the Dallas area, your time there, Tex-Mex or authentic Mexican?
Tex-Mex, because Texas invented the frozen margarita.
Oh,
And so
okay.
frozen margaritas are,
that's definitely a thing.
it's a thing
Yeah, definitely.
that we like to enjoy sometimes.
All right. You got another one there?
I think we're good.
I think I had one more.
One more.
Oh, wait, hang
Fire
on.
away.
Oh, you got 5 subs now, in the league. Which minute is the first one coming in if you've got a 1-goal lead?
I don't sub half typically, so I would say 60th minute.
60th minute.
Good answer. That's about
Can we
when
get
we
through
start
it?
asking questions to
there we go.
ourselves in
Who should be
the,
coming
in the
in?
press box. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're
almost
like,
said 57
shouldn't someone be
and a
coming in
half.
by now?
60. I'll round it off to 60.
That's when the fans on Twitter start going like, why isn't he subbing?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Thank
Well,
you. One more from the gallery.
Oh, there's one from the gallery. Yes.
High school or middle school for teaching?
Oh, I taught both. Did you know that? I taught middle school and I taught.
You
High
talked with
school.
Ted about this recently.
No, high school. It was it's just older kids, Middle school, it's a lot of work. But it helped my foundation. That's for sure.
Well, Luchi, we are super excited to get to talk to you in the post-game press conferences this year. So we'll be talking obviously quite a bit, but you won't see us. So this is the chance to see us because, quite often we are behind the camera and just asking the questions. But we appreciate this opportunity to do a face-to-face, and thanks for doing the rapid fire with us. And best wishes on the game tomorrow, as well as getting ready for the start of the season.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys. And, everything you guys do covering behind the scenes is helping our community learn about the club and the game. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.